Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. This video, as some of you in advising may have gotten, but is an introduction to Taskstream. Taskstream is our new portfolio website. It had actually been my intent for you guys to get access to this and walk through this in the fall term in the assessment course. But this video will be serving the purpose of an introduction and just to show people where things are and the purpose of things in Taskstream on forward. You may be watching this video in your first term as part of Intro to VI or possibly in Braille, but the intent of this is to just give you an introduction to the system, let you know why it exists, what you need to do with it, and what is expected of you as part of this program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump over to a screen share, and from that screen share just walk through the appearance of Taskstream. Now, everyone who is a student at NCCU in the education program should have a Taskstream account. In order to get there, you will be going to taskstream.com. I'm typing that in the Google search window because I'm doing a window share or an application share. And actually, I can make that better. We can do just an application window so you can see the address bar. So you're just going to go to taskstream.com. And when you do that, it's actually going to reroute you to Watermark, which is the company that owns Taskstream. And they have several products in their portfolio kind of realm. And I'm going to reframe this window a little bit just so we get a good idea. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go to login, and the thing you're going to log in, you'll see all of their different sites down there, VIA and everything else. You want to go to the Taskstream one. You will enter your nccu.edu email and whatever default password you were sent. Everyone's account in Taskstream is actually set up by the School of Education. So when you enter the program, we gave the people that manage Taskstream, about 3 or 4 offices over, the list of all of our students in program. They got your emails and 820s, and as a result, created your account in here. If you find you do not have an account in Taskstream, please contact myself or Jennifer Thurman immediately, and we can get that email off. And normally within 24 hours, your account will be added. It's really important that we add these accounts, so don't create your new one or anything else. You have an account as a student here, so you don't have to pay for anything. And also when you are queued in, the respective portfolio is set up for you based on which program you're in. So when you click in, this is what your window may or may not look like. I actually only have one item here. If I go to Evaluator, you will see you don't have these 2 tabs here. You will have an author tab under program, and that author will give you, actually I think you will have a student tab. It'll be different. As an evaluator, I am evaluating, or when you fill out your paperwork in the system, it comes to me under the all programs 2020 to 2021 and the special education VITP. You must do both, okay? Step 1 of this process is to come into the all programs 2021 and enter in all of your information. When you do that, I will get a little message right here that says evaluation required, and I will go through and check your information. In the all programs tab, you can see no work is currently submitted, but I can go into an overview of it, I believe. There we go. I'm going to have to edit this video. There we are. In the overview of it, you will see that you will have your admissions. There's some directions in there. Then you will have your program TEP application. That makes sure that you're applying for the correct one. And then there's going to be a series of documents. Some of these may be redundant. with what you use to apply. Some of them may be added in by people here. The goal of this is just so that we have general information for contacting all of you. As it sits right now, in order for us to get your personal contact information, we have to go back into your application and pull all of that data out. There's no easy way for us to access your contact info. This system will make sure that we have up-to-date contact information. Say when you graduate, if we want to contact you about quality of program, if we want to, check in with you to see that, you're working in the field, so that when we're doing things, we can say, yes, our graduates are working and contributing members of society. It also is where we will upload your plans of study, which if you're my advisee, that is sent to you every term. We can just store one up there if you've done any standardized tests, and you will notice right here that there is a COVID-19 action plan. There is paperwork so that if you have to do an internship site, there's an agreement that you would have to sign. And again, all of this is done through this system. And then over time, just so you guys know, you have a disposition self-assessment. So periodically, you're going to go through and self-assess yourself on what you're learning, how you're doing. When you submit those come to your advisor. So if we haven't met much, or something's going on, or we want to record something or capture something, like, I had a really bad term and there was all this stuff going on and I'm learning this stuff, but it was just, this is a place to just put your disposition as a professional, what you feel like you don't have in terms of evaluation. And you should know that every term, at the beginning, like after your first term, in your midterm program, and at your exit, we as faculty are completing a disposition for you as well. Part of the reason for this, just so you know, is we are preparing you to be teachers. We're preparing you to be professionals that are going to work in a dynamic, collaborative environment with youth. There's a lot going on in that environment. And as our responsibility, this is more than just going and getting a bachelor's degree. I paid my tuition, I got A's in my class, and huzzah, give me my degree. Swell. Part of this is becoming a teacher and a professional. And whenever you apply to get a job out in the world, your professors can log, and we will be asking them to log disposition statements on behalf of your work, your professionalism, everything else. As a grad student, it is kind of your job. This is where we're going to weigh everything on in the future. So if a reference is asked for me or someone in the future of the program, say if I weren't here, which I don't plan on doing, but they would be able to come back into these disposition statements and just see what faculty's impressions of you are, and still give an accurate accounting of your professionalism and achievement, regardless of who's here whenever. When you exit the program, which this is key for several of you, because you are finishing up the program and you're having to learn the system and get information in it, like now, because graduation stuff's due in a month or two. It is January, but normally it's about a month or two into the term. This is where all of your transcript, praxis tests, when you're done, where your data verification form will be. That is your piece of paper you take to the Department of Ed to say, yes, I've completed a program in education, and they say I'm okay to be a teacher. That form will be signed by you, signed by me, or whoever's in this position, and will live there so that you can always access it, that your Taskstream becomes your digital portfolio forever. And even if you think you're not going to move jobs, it's not a bad idea to kind of periodically update that digital portfolio. I just pulled mine out the other day, and what was back in the day, this binder, this nice like leather before I was vegan, binder with examples of my time schedules and work and everything in O&M and TVI, you will have a digital copy of this. And then you also have some surveys, completer survey stuff, so that we can improve the program over time. If there are things like you feel you didn't learn deeply enough or enough time wasn't spent on, or could have been assessed differently in terms of communication. That's when we find out what we need to do to constantly improve the program for future folks. And as many of you know, the work of education is a constant refinement and improvement process. It's never done. So that is all programs. Everyone in the School of Education, undergraduate, graduate, everyone has to fill out this thing that goes on through. That is your step one, okay? So you all need to log into Taskstream using your NCCU login. You should have received an email. It was possibly from Dr. Gregory or Dr. Short giving you a login to the system. And as a result, you should be able to get into the system. If you can't, again, you can change your password. It'll be sent to your email. Or if it doesn't seem to have an account, let me know. I will inform them. But I think I went through and double checked all the lists. Everyone should be on it. And we do that every term. Now, if you want to, once you are done with that, and it has been submitted, it will come to me or Professor Thurman, and we will go through it, and we will just check off that all the boxes are filled in, and we will, say, cool, you're all good. The more important part of that, in my opinion, and hold on, I need to get back, portfolios and web pages. These little tabs at the top are not helpful, in my opinion. I always click on the Taskstream up here in the corner instead of any of these little tabs, and that gets me in. Now, for those of you graduating and as you progress through the program, again, that all programs is stuff you do at the beginning and kind of at the end with a check-in along the way. That is for all people in the Department of Ed. They will all complete that, including you. And that helps us keep in touch, keep track, all of those things. Our program in visual impairments, and this is specifically, actually this is both O&M, not both, sorry, there are now three, O&M, AT, and TSVI. Artifacts of your program here will live in this area. And the way it's organized, and it may appear a little differently for everyone, is it's organized as foundations being the first section. And that would be EDEC 5501. You would have a disposition. It would have 5605, 5610 psychosocial, 605 is sensory motor, 5601 structure and function of the human eye, and 5505 neurological visual impairments. Those are the classes that everyone in the program takes. You will notice one class is missing from there, and that would be the Braille class. Because the final in that is an exam, it isn't kind of a handed in, I transcribed an entire book or anything of that nature. So there isn't an artifact from the Braille course because that sort of weekly assignments, we know what we put you through. After that base area then, there are additional items for teacher of students with visual impairments, have items from their progression. And then down below, you will see there's an O&M specialist one that is drawn from the praxis coursework and the internship. And then for those of you in assistive technology, there are artifacts from the three courses in that way. Because the 5508 technology is a requirement for TSVI, I'll scroll back up here, you will see it in two places. You don't need to fill it in both places if you aren't doing both degree programs. But because it is a requirement of each, it needs to be in both of them. That's the only item of kind of specific note there to pay attention to. And then, of course, there will be items from your internship as well. If you have already completed these classes, which many of you have, and the artifacts that are here, which we just wrote this protocol, drawing and adapting things from the previous system, Folio Tech, we just did that a couple months ago. If the artifact does not match, please ask the professor in the course you are in at that time, or one of the other faculty members in the program, preferably your advisor, because they're the person who reviews your portfolio. Ask them what assignment they would like you to put into the portfolio. And that way we just know if you've made a substitution because an assignment may not have been covered due to COVID or to any number of other reasons. We don't have a mismatch and we have clear communication. The other thing that's important to understand about these portfolios, and I hope this doesn't happen, but it could, is if you have an assignment that, say, is not great, where you aren't satisfied with it, or the professor said this is, in work, it still needs some work, but you passed the class, but it's not great. The reason we are giving you that feedback is because that item needs to go in your portfolio. And part of the way your portfolio reflects your professionalism and refinement of your work and like the really developed final product you have is by you going back and refining it. It should be your practice, although it's not like we're going to be holding a stick over you, but this is how you define yourself as a professional. When the term is over, if you get feedback on an assignment and there's work yet to be done, that assignment should be kind of put on the shelf, maybe over the break between term, maybe over some time in the summer, perhaps scheduling an appointment with that professor to go through that assignment item by item and make sure that when you put it in your portfolio, it is representative of your best work, not representative of your work at that time. Your portfolio represents you as a finished product. Therefore, everything in it should be a finished product. Things happen occasionally in our personal lives, in pandemics, or any number of other reasons in which what you are putting in or the work that may be submitted may not be perfect or your best. Life happens. We've all been students one way or another. And sometimes you have to make those hard choices or to do better in one class over another one. The portfolio is that final product. And when you graduate, it's better to be working on it over time than in your final term when you're doing your internships and everything else to get a note from your advisor. I was going through your portfolio and I don't know about this. Could you go refine it? It's just not good additional stress on the end of it. And feedback is always most valuable in the moment. As teachers, we are, as I mentioned earlier, constantly refining. So please get into Taskstream and enter all of your information under the All Programs area so that we can start that review process and we can have all of our students listed in. Since all of you have done at least one term in program, some of you about 4, you will all have some artifacts to drop into the special education BITP basket. Please do that as well after you've gotten the all programs thing done. But what you will likely want to do is look in the special education program and see which assignments you need to grab. Doing this sooner rather than later is a good idea as well. In case you don't have a saved copy of it, you may require a professor to send you a copy of an assignment that is in a Blackboard shell that's now closed. Or you may want to get back in and look at it to see what is there. So please get logged into this system take a look at things and get your data loaded up. The other thing that's important for those of you who were using FolioTech, if you need assignments or if you need artifacts sent to you from that system, you can contact your advisor and we can still get into it and pull stuff out. You don't need to pay for FolioTech again to get back in and get your things. All right? Excellent. I look forward to seeing a whole lot of work probably in the next week there by next Friday on that all programs thing, and I will load this up to YouTube so you guys can enjoy it. See you soon.